Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and this is a breakdown of Rick and Morty Season 4, Episode 10, the season finale, Star Mort Rick Turn to the Jerry, an episode that thankfully took a deep drag on that continuity and delivered on the Beth clone and bird person plot lines that we weren't sure if they were ever going to bring back. Ha! Obsessively rewatching the show and reminding ourselves of loose plot threads pays off for a moment until you realize this is just a TV show, and who knows if we'll all still be here before we get more episodes of it. Sigh. But what better reason to scrub back through this episode for all the hidden animation jokes and Easter eggs for even more reasons to laugh? And for a deeper discussion of the ending and the amazing song Don't Look Back with Tammy voice actor Cassie Steele, check out yesterday's episode of Ricksplained. Okay, this episode opens with Space Beth confirming that Beth was indeed cloned back in Season 3, Episode 9, The ABCs of Beth. We see how this Beth has quickly evolved into a badass just like her father, Rick. Her armor and helmet is actually similar to the helmets we saw Rick and Morty wear in the Morty's Mind Blower's memory. She's killing Federation Grompholites, as Rick has always enjoyed doing. Space Beth also has a scar over her eye, just like versions of Rick had in Tales from the Citadel. And she's got a crew. Son of a bitch. That includes a female Squanchette, we'll call her, and a female Crumbopulous Michael, Crumbopulous Michelle, I presume. This episode's title is obviously a nod to Star Wars Return of the Jedi, and it's filled with a ton of digs at Star Wars.
The NX-5's industry-leading tachyon beams eliminate planets twice as fast as the NX-4S with half the battery and zero built-in fatal design flaws. That's right, no more secret hole that blows the whole thing up when you shoot it.
Yeah, this ad is mapping the Death Star concept over iPhone upgrades, the way the Star Wars franchise just keeps recycling the Death Star with bigger and more effective upgrades of it that are essentially the same thing, because they always seem to have a glaring loophole design flaw. The NX-5 is sponsored by Wrangler Jeans, which it's designed to be unable to destroy, which becomes its dumb design flaw. It's also a callback to the Federation's obsession with pants from their Battle in the Season 3 premiere.
He who controls the pants controls the galaxy!
Beth and her crew lead what's called the Defiance, which is this episode's version of the Rebellion in Star Wars, which becomes the Resistance in the sequel trilogy, and the new improved Galactic Federation is just like how the Empire became the First Order. It's all the same shit. Space Beth learns that Rick rigged her with a neck bomb implant, just like the ones in Suicide Squad, and actually a ton of other pop culture stories. Behind her in her home are spare android parts, and x-rays show how her body is filled with cybernetic enhancements, just like Rick's is, including a plate on her skull, enhancements on her shoulder and lower arms, her breastplate, and wiring through her spine. Back at the Smith home, Rick gets out of therapy by goading Morty and Summer to fight over an invisibility belt.
Oof, looks like you two have to fight about why you can't control your kids. Good thing Dr. Wong's got an opening. Bye.
You're a bad father.
Don't let him divide us!
Jerry had that "don't let him divide us" locked and loaded, knowing that Beth was about to call him out. Also, she calls Jerry a bad father, which is the same realization Rick arrives at the end of this episode.
Holy shit, I'm a terrible father.
Proving that despite Rick's attempts to avoid therapy, he ended up putting himself through a version of it. Rick's ironic self-therapy starts right away when he seals himself in the garage in his family therapy mode, only to face Space Beth. She has an implant that allows her to phase shift super fast toward him, but not through a grid fence empowered by the same kind of tech. Rick and Space Beth have a Pokemon battle. Beth throws a red Pokeball. Rick throws a blue one, meaning it's a great ball. Looks as though Beth is using a fire type Pokemon, which makes it logical that Rick's using a water type. I'm basing that on the blue color in the back fin. So yeah, makes sense. Rick's savages it. It's super effective. Love the type advantage application there. I would expect nothing less considering Rick and Morty has his own Pokemon style game. Summer uses the invisibility belt to stalk her hunky crush, but I love the details on his crummy home. Crappy clothes sun drying, Christmas lights still hanging, a mailbox just left open, a bong on the roof, a swing set resting in the backyard, undergrown dirt patches on the lawn, a crack in the fence, and yeah, he's got a farmer's tan. Of course this would be Summer's crush. Morty's belt buckle is Tiny Big Man Jr. And in this dude's hallway, there's this insane photo of him as a younger kid wearing a Meth Gator shirt, sitting on the lap of a woman wearing a corn on the cob top, evoking the terrifying On a Cob planet, all while this older drunk dude in underwear yells at them. So many red flags in one frame for Summer to stay the hell away from this guy in his life. Rick and Space Beth go to Shoney's, Rick's favorite restaurant from the Season 3 premiere, the place he used to screw over the Federation, as they do again in this episode. Also, maybe a little clue that we could be seeing another simulation here. Everything's a simulation. You've been red belt. You're welcome. Rick has some amazing tech that catches his spit out beer and lifts it back into his mug so we can resume drinking it. No drop wasted. Very efficient. And the TV in the Shoney's is a Sony brand. Morty peeps on the honeybees cheerleaders, and Summer catches Morty by calling shower fire, which is something that makes no sense. Remember, Morty and Rick stripped down in these showers back in the M. Night Shyamalan's episode. The Federation ship, for no reason, vaporizes the goalpost. I guess kind of the way students randomly storming the field after an upset win randomly take these down as well. Susan Sarandon returns to voice the therapist, Dr. Wong, last seen in the Pickle Rick episode. At her desk, there's a doodle of a stick figure with boobs drawn on it. Rick and Beth were right last episode when they joked that therapists were kinky.
Okay, the therapists are getting bored. We need to increase their supply of incest porn.
20% wasn't enough?
Dr. Wong disses the Great British Bake Off.
TV gives British people prizes for baking, Jerry.
And Tammy returns, though Jerry briefly forgets her name.
Tammy?
Tamia.
Just like the Gromflemite at the top of the episode who couldn't remember Beth Smith because it was too generic. Jerry's got a bug brain. Jerry tries to stop Tammy.
Hey, I only said hey. It's not like I can do more than that.
This hey uselessness comes back this episode.
Jerry, do something!
Hey.
Outside on the street, there's a gas station called Greenhouse Gas. $2.48 for regular and $3.22 for premium, meaning the gas with the bigger carbon footprint is crazy discounted. Rick uses previously rigged booby traps in the therapy office.
No, it makes it a place I've rigged with a lot of voice-activated escape contingencies. These are all good points. I need to take a long look at myself.
I'd like to discuss that.
I don't discuss problems, I incinerate them.
This shows that Dr. Wong's analysis of Rick in that Pickle Rick episode was so threatening to Rick that had he been ever dragged back into therapy, he prepared to use scripted responses to get out of it. His whole family therapy protocol was thorough as He learned nothing from that episode. Or maybe he learned a lot, depending on how you see therapy. During the chase, they fly by the mailman, and Rick surrenders by offering fast food.
Okay, Wendy's. We love Wendy's. I think they even gave us some money.
It's amazing that they worked this in, considering every ad break this season has featured that crazy Wendy's ad. Tammy returns, her face and neck and back covered in burns from Rick's fires earlier. Morty and Summer save them.
We work together. That's our arc.
We went from siblings to invisible to working together.
It's not Citizen Kane, but why compete with whatever's going on here, you know?
Just some meta joking from the writers comparing Morty and Summer's underdeveloped and already finished conflict this episode to one of the most praised films of all time. But Invisible Summer breaks Tammy's leg, ouch, and Rick shoots her.
You made me go to a wedding. And you killed my best friend. I should have said that one first.
Ah yes, Rick's big gripe from Wedding Squatchers wasn't Tammy's betrayal of his best friend, it was the fact that he had to go to a wedding to begin with. Look folks, you've seen our past episodes and you know we're big fans of Manscaped. We love their products and the pube puns that they let us make when we're talking about them. So we're proud to announce that there's a brand new product that we can make puns about, the Manscaped Weed Whacker Nose and Ear Hair Trimmer. Yes, as rough as it can be when your pubes get a rude and crude attitude, it's even worse when the air's poking out of your head holes get too swole. Way more people are seeing your nose and ears than they see your naughty bits on a regular basis. You don't want those people to freak out when you got sideburns in your snout. 79% of partners in a recent poll said that nose hair was a major turnoff. Keep your loved ones happy by bushwhacking your booger bristles. Manscaped spent over a year working on the Weed Whacker, and it uses proprietary skin-safe technology from their lawnmower body trimmer. There's no snags in your schnoz or fear near your ear. It's water-resistant and intelligently designed to match the contours of your nose. Plus, it's way less painful than plucking. Have you ever tweezed a nose hair? I'm turning into that Peter Parker crying meme. Everything's Manscaped is hooking you up with their new performance package, which includes the Lawnmower 3.0 for below the waist grooming, plus their new Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer to round out your manscaping routine. So get 20% off and free shipping when you use the promo code STARS20 at manscaped.com. That's promo code STARS20 for 20% off at manscaped.com. See our link in the video's description. The NX Battle Station voice changes for the planet, suggesting it has an insert planet here part in its script.
Congratulations, Earth, on being destroyed by the NX-5.
And Rick begrudgingly participates in a Star Wars type plot, wiping out the Gromflemites like stormtroopers. They have to puppet Tammy's corpse to scan her face.
Summer, try unlocking that door by scanning your high school friend's dead face.
What am I doing wrong?
Ugh, her eyes are closed. Morty, open the left one. I've got the right. She died the way she lived, over-serialized.
Solid wordplay there. The writers calling themselves out for overusing a character while they get multiple uses from her corpse in the scene and scanning her like a serial number. Morty and Summer call out the awkward kiss between Luke and Leia before George Lucas decided they were siblings.
Oh yeah, we're like Luke and Leia, except no kissing part. What's another famous brother-sister team?
The Hansel and Gretel?
Yeah, right, those two were
Yeah, she's referring to that 2012 Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters movie with Jeremy Renner, with all of its creepy incestual vibes. Something my buddy Allison wrote a very funny sketch about when we got to wear lederhosen. Like all of my old sketch props and costumes, the lederhosen burned in the fire. Check out the latest episode of Big Question for that tea. Jerry pees while invisible. You can see that the urine pulls up around the outline of its shoe. Gross. Bird Person, aka Phoenix Person, returns. His entrance is a perch, like a bird on a cuckoo clock. Given Bird Person and Tammy's various kinks, I would not be surprised if the cuckoo would be his bird of choice. The animation on this battle is incredible. Dan Harmon's rage scream! And then we cut to X-ray mode to show the jawbone shatter, a nod to the Mortal Kombat animation. You can see Rick's cybernetic arm in the X-ray mode in his skeleton, which extends later in this battle to punch Bird Person. The same X-ray effect shows Bird Person's drill attacking Rick's heart, but a metal shield forms over the heart and bends the drill tip. Now, as I mentioned before, the NX5 cannot disintegrate Wrangler genes, leaving them floating behind after people get zapped. Similar to the Tom Cruise War of the Worlds remake, in which the Martian tripod, for whatever reason, zaps human flesh, but not their clothes. It's actually because it looked cool and rapture-y. I love that movie. Rick weaponizes pieces of the wall to attack Bird Person, and then he opens up a portal and flips him off as he falls through, similar to Peter Quill against Thanos in Infinity War. Our rewatch and breakdown of that movie is coming this week. And the two Beths work really well together.
Maybe we could do like a Parent Trap thing together sometime.
As long as you mean the Lindsay Lohan version.
Naturally.
Yeah, it's another weirdly specific nod to the 1998 Lindsay Lohan Parent Trap, where she plays both of the twins who scheme, because twins always have to scheme in movies. It's weird how they don't reference the original Hayley Mills version in which the twins are blonde, and she says naturally in that British accent because Lohan had to play the British version of herself too. I know a lot of that movie. I saw it as a kid and I don't feel any shame because I love that movie too. Morty and Summer disable the NX5.
I killed him! I did it off screen!
Damn it, Morty, fix your underwear. I saw your balls for a second.
That's on you!
Risking ending up on a list here, the animator snuck in a little tear on Morty's underwear. Moving on! Bird Person blasts Rick to pieces until Rick's entrails spill out, revealing even more cybernetic patches, probably allowing his digestive system to absorb alcohol more efficiently. Notice that when he drinks his booze, it spills out one of the tubes. Jerry stops Bird Person from killing them all by Weekend at Burning Tammy's corpse, distracting him long enough for Space Beth to just flip his on and off switch. That's it. That's all it took. Of course, Rick overthought it. Now, Rick kept the memory of Beth's cloning in a memory vial from the Morty's Mindblower episode. As the Beths decide they don't need to know the truth, Space Beth makes Rick flinch with a fist, just like Rick and Summer did to each of the bullies they jumped in the X Gon Give It To You montage. The memory reveals that Beth let Rick decide which version to keep and which version to release. On the table behind Beth is a photo of young Beth with a birthday cake, and the memories that he transfers includes Beth holding newborn Morty, Beth and Jerry's wedding photo, and that birthday memory with Rick's wife, Diane Sanchez, mystery woman we still know very little about. Now, behind young Beth is a teddy bear and that same camcorder that Rick used to record this birthday memory. All of this from that simple Rick's commercial in the Tales from the Citadel episode. So Rick is reviewing the memories most precious to him about his daughter that the Ricks in the Citadel used to stabilize a Rick in a loop to produce that nostalgic brain chemical just to flavor the simple Rick's bar. So you know this is heartbreaking. Rick randomizes which Beth is a clone, which is a real one. His machine does that ball and cup maneuver. Now Rick is watching this whole memory on the projector screen, and it appears he's watching it from a third-person perspective, meaning that from his vantage point there in the garage, he might have been able to keep his eye on the clone and figure out which was which, but we cut away from the projector screen. We never see the ending of the switcheroo, so in our point of view, it's left a mystery. But it doesn't matter. Rick feels alienated from both Beths. For the past 11 episodes, he's been willing to live with the fact that the daughter he's been living in the house with might just be a fake copy. And either way, this real Beth wasn't his original Beth. He and Morty swapped into this reality in season 1 from C-137. Who knows how many times Rick did that before then? That's why he feels so alone. And the music that underscores this is amazing. It's Don't Look Back by Kotomi and Rick and Morty composer Ryan Elder. I went into the deeper connection of the lyrics and Rick explained. I know, I'm plugging it a lot because it's great. There is more to this show than just hidden dickies, folks. The post-credit scene follows Jerry's adventures as Invisible Garbage Truck Jerry. I hate to go frame by frame through body explosions, but the douche driving the convertible blows up horrifically. His eyes pop pop out of his face, so he's just a flesh mask for one frame. It's just an animator decided to put that in there. And Jerry, like an idiot, steps right into the blood. All kinds of gross human fluids all over that shoe. The dumpster next to the pimp has graffiti reading stank. The alleys and dumpsters on the show tend to be tagged with words like stank and poo. And lastly, Jerry passes an animated version of Mike Mindell, the longtime animation producer on shows like Rick and Morty and The Simpsons. He passed away late last year. The season premiere also included a cameo by that beloved crew member. Nice to the animators to show some more love in this finale. Thanks for joining me this season of Rick and Morty. Sadly, it really just flew by. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EA Voss. Follow new Rockstars on socials and subscribe to this channel on YouTube for breakdowns of everything you love. Thanks for watching. Bye.